Welcome to the channel. I'm Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist, Gosford, Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. The narcissistic cycle, something that a lot of people now are beginning to understand and learn. And it seems like the only people that don't realize what it is are the narcissists. Proverbs 20 verse 13 says, "Do not sleep, or you will grow poor. Open your eyes, and you will have plenty of food." Now, sleep in the Bible often speaks of spiritual and soulish unawareness, a deliberate ignorance that causes you to remain infantile. It doesn't allow you to grow characteristically. You know all the superficial presentations. You know how to present yourself in a way that brings acceptance and inclusion. But in personal, intimate relationships, the ones that sleep and don't grow, they remain poor in their attributes towards the contribution of their relationship. They go into a cycle, and it starts off with incredible love bombing, incredible exhilarating acceptance and intertwining and unity, where you're lifted up into this place and you think, my goodness, how did I find this person? Where has this person been? Where on earth did you come from? And this is how the sleeper, the poor in character, captures you. The second part of the verse says, "Open your eyes, and you will have plenty of food." What happens in the narcissistic cycle? After the love bombing stage, things begin micro-incrementally to start to become odd, start to become poor. And now you're in a position where you have to ask, is this me that's causing this separativeness? Is this me that's causing this waywardness in this person that grandized me and pedestalized me at the start, that mirrored me, that liked everything I liked and wanted to do everything I wanted to do and was intimate like I was? Is this the same person? Well, in the narcissistic cycle, unfortunately, viewers, it is. Verse 14 warns us that there's people out there that says, worthless, worthless, says the buyer. But on the way out, they gloat. This is what narcissists do. They come in and say, priceless, priceless, and go away thinking how lucky they are. But then their attitude begins to change. They go, worthless, this person's worthless. But they stay around because on their way out, they gloat. They know that you're a good person. They know that you are doing everything you possibly could just to have a normal, sensible relationship. But the narcissistic cycle puts these people back into their sleep, where they grow poor in the relationship. But your eyes are open, and you know that a relationship requires more than this. So while they're going into their worthless sleep attitude, while they're starting to take things for granted and go into negligence in the narcissistic cycle, you're trying to correct them. You're trying to bring verse 10 10 in, where it says differing weights and unequal measures, both are detestable to the Lord. The way in which they measured up at the start of the relationship was unbalanced. It was priceless. This person is priceless. But, as the scripture says, they become unbalanced at the other side of the scale. Now this person's worthless, says the buyer. But underneath they know that you are priceless. You see, darkness can't comprehend the light, and differing weights, differing attitudes, and unequal characteristics in a relationship are detestable. They're too hard to manage. So as you bring correction to the narcissist, the covert, malignant, somatic narcissist, they come out of their slumber again. They go back to the love bomb stage, they show interest again. You've shaken them from their sleep through your correction. But then, of course, they begin to grow tired again. They begin to fall back into their sleep, their narcissistic sleep, where they're physically present, hopefully. Some disappear. They're physically present, but emotionally they're going distant again, and they're tied up in other selfish interests and other things that keep them in that worthless as the buyer state. And they're running around gloating. They're misled by themselves. Totally misled by what's happening inside them in their narcissistic cycle. They're running around gloating about themselves, but they're pulling down the relationship from underneath themselves. They're making things appear worthless that are valuable. And as you bring in your scales and say, hey, we need to weigh this up, you shake them back out of their narcissistic sleep, and they go, gee, yeah, this person's right. I need to wake up again. And they go back up to priceless. This person's priceless. And they become humble only for moments, because then they go slowly, micro-incrementally, back into their worthless, this is worthless, deep psychological sleep. And they start to grow poor in the relationship. And of course, your eyes are open and you're saying, hang on a sec, this relationship hasn't got plenty of food. Where's the emotional food in this? And again, you go round in a circle and you're trying to weigh up the detestable scales of what's being put into the relationship. By this time, you're starting to realize something just isn't right. Something just isn't natural or normal about the way this person is doing the relationship. They're present physically, but their emotional input goes to a high and always ends up distant and separated. These people, unfortunately, the covert or all NPD people, they end up emotionally looking at you with a sense of worthlessness. The balance of the scale tilts to a lack of performance. They fall back into their sleep, and the relationship grows poor. Worthless, says the partner, but on the way out, they gloat. 15 of Proverbs 20. You know, the narcissistic cycle looks at things at the start with, there is an abundance of gold and rubies. They'll tell you this. You're an abundance of gold and you're like rubies. They'll lift you up into their manic mindset, and they'll mirror you and convince you that everything's going to be fine. But while they're saying you're an abundance of gold and rubies, your life is everything I've been looking for, you have the lips of knowledge. And the lips of knowledge are a rare treasure. They're much more rarer than people that are running around going, I've got gold and I've got rubies. Because when you are in a manic state in the narcissistic cycle, when they're on the high, that's how they perceive things. But remember, the scales tilt. They become detestable. They tilt from gold and rubies, and slowly, micro-incrementally, emotionally, go back into the sleep to worthless, says the partner, deep inside their psyche. So it's our responsibility, all of us, to have knowledge, because it's a rare treasure. It's something that people don't make the effort to have, and they're unequipped when they are in with somebody who is a narcissist. The narcissistic cycle will always leave you poor. It'll always leave you upset. But the silly part about it is the food was always there. If you open your eyes, you'll look at this person and you'll go, hang on a sec, they've got all the capability of making this a perfect and wonderful relationship. But the negligence, the sleep, verse 13, do not love sleep or you will grow poor, it's just a part of their personality. They fall away. They neglect you. They neglect the relationship. But yet, they still have this gloating attitude. Just remember, narcissism is something that we all need to learn about. Okay? If you don't, you'll end up in the cycle, and you could waste years and end up worthless, while the whole time you were an abundance of gold and rubies just being wasted on somebody's desires. Let the narcissist sleep. Let them grow poor. But you keep your eyes open. And remember, knowledge is the rarest treasure that we can avail ourselves to. Let the narcissist gloat. Let their sleep and poorness mislead them, while you learn about life and find your way into a balanced scale so that you have peace and your life is pure, constant and upright. I'm Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison. Thank you for joining me, and bye for now.